Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the HIT.OR.DIE podcast.
Welcome back. Chad.
With your hosts, Chad, right? I'm here,
Chad.
This guy, and Jake Saldate.
Welcome
it's
back.
a beautiful Monday.
It is Monday. We are basically one game shy of knowing who the ALCS our teams will be. You got Houston.
We will know by the time this is out.
Yeah, by the time this is out tomorrow or today, Tuesday. Always talking in the future.
It's all right. We have the
flux
capacitor in here, so we can go back in time, do whatever.
Yeah, Yankees Indians going game 5. I guess we could start there. Are you a little surprised by that?
No, it's playoff baseball. I'm not surprised by anything.
Their schedule though has been kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, I think with the rain out, but
It's the 2 back-to-back days off, really, right? They played game 1.
back-to-back days off.
Yeah, and back-to-back days off with the rain
Which,
out.
like we said before, it shouldn't have been that way.
And then now it's they had no days off, right? They played Saturday.
They
in
technically
New York.
would have the day off of
Correct.
the actual rain delay.
Yes.
Would have been.
Yeah.
So
This series would have been decided already had that rain delay not
true.
happened.
But let's not make sense. Let's not, the MLB sucks anyways.
Well, and so they'll start the ALCS Wednesday anyways. So
the National League will go Tuesday?
well, yeah, they're going. Whoever it is going to Houston. So
Well, yeah, but the National League will go on
tomorrow,
Tuesday,
today.
which will be what I think is going to be the better series. Actually, a Yankees-Astros series would be really good. But I think this Phillies-Padres series, I'm going to say this. I don't even know who I would pick.
Okay, you're gonna have to pick somebody.
I wore my San Diego hat because I like them, but as I was driving over here, I was like, I like Harper. I've always liked Harper, but I will say this. So I don't know if I'm going to pick a winner for the National League, but I will say this. Whoever wins the National League NLCS will win the World Series.
Just too much momentum, you think, or
Too much. I don't give a fuck in those two teams.
as how they're playing?
As in too much of we're not supposed to be here. People say we're not supposed to be here. Let's prove everybody wrong. That
Well,
type of thing.
look at that. Just saying that, right?
Yeah.
You've got all the teams that people can say that about, right? Cleveland Indians, are they supposed to be game 5 with the Yankees?
No,
Probably not.
no.
The
I
series.
mean, Cleveland were they even supposed to beat the Blue Jays? No, Tampa. Were they Tampa?
Yes, Tampa.
Yeah, they were supposed to beat.
Yeah, Seattle beat the Blue Jays.
Yeah, that's right.
But Houston sweeps Seattle, and you say sweep, but yet that was a super tight series.
I mean, they technically played 4 games.
They did. What was that? Actually, it was 18 innings.
18 innings.
And then they had
42 strikeouts.
I mean, game 1 was a walk-off. Game 2 was tight till late.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much a late hit in the end of the last.
So you
couple innings.
say sweep, but Houston got pushed.
Yeah.
And so that's
Which I think helps though.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think that's.
And that's what I think. We talked about yesterday. I think that the Phillies are the only ones that kind of blew out their team in the Braves.
Yeah. The Phils take down the Braves. Everybody obviously saw in what I'd say was probably, like you just said, the most dominant fashion. It's hard to say as a Braves fan, but also as a fan of the game and being around it long enough to see, they weren't the better team. The Phillies were the better team this series. They just did. I mean, they pitched well. They hit well. That first game, even going back to that, your tweet about not one home run, not one long ball, 7 runs on manufacturing and having good ABs and 2-strike hitting and clutch at bats and finding a way to extend ABs and get guys over and in and all. I mean, that's the Phillies were just a better team this series, and so I mean, I'm not bummed. I'm bummed because the Braves don't get to defend it. They're not going back, or the season's over. Had they played, not that they, because how much did you got to tip your cap to the Phillies, right? They pitched pretty bad, but the Phillies hit the ball really well too. It wasn't like just walks and errors. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
There's nothing to say other than that this division series with the Phillies and the Braves, the Phillies were just they're a better team.
Yeah.
This time around. So, and it goes that old saying, like, what you did in the regular season
Doesn't matter.
doesn't matter. I mean, the Mets, the Braves, 101 wins. Doesn't matter.
111 wins.
And 111 wins. And like everybody, all eyes were on that.
Yeah.
Because what was the record? I think the Padres were 5-14 in the regular season. Pretty much got handled by the Dodgers. The Dodgers handled a lot of guys. Scored the most runs in Major League Baseball. And the Padres get it done. They beat the Braves 3-1. Dodgers, sorry. And are moving on to the NLCS against the Phillies. So just break it down. I mean, that's the one we're probably going to spend the most time on talking about anyways.
It just proves I was right. They can't hit.
Or living by the long ball?
I mean, the Padres definitely manufactured runs. I think that, like I said before, a 250 batting average, 111 wins, it doesn't add up. So it's either that everybody was bad, which statistically is true.
I mean, yeah.
The hitting was very bad all around baseball. And again, how much Freddie Freeman, again, 3 hits in the loss. So, I mean, like Freddie Freeman, Trey Turner, if they're not in the lineup, there's no shot they have 111 wins. Urias is up for the Cy Young. Gosling was really good. Anderson was really good. I mean, who could have thought Gosling and Anderson were going to be that good this year? And I think that's what kept them in during the season. Their pitching was what ultimately got the job done, I think. And going into the series, that was going to be the question. I think, was the pitching going to hold up? Because I knew that hitting-wise, it was going to be a battle. And Urias he only threw once. Your dude only threw once. So I think you got to give it up to the Padres and their pitching staff. And obviously I think Roberts was outmanaged. I know everybody's going to say that and he should have his head. But then again, it's like, who knows what he's going through? Who knows what he's being told? Who knows what he has to do or the decisions on him and that kind of stuff. So and it always comes back to, I've said this before in the past. Why would you go away from what you did during the season to win 111 games? Why would you manage differently? And that's just like, I don't know. That's the only thing I can say.
Everybody was calling for his head.
They do every year. If they don't win a World Series, then they call for the coach's head. So
I don't know, man. I know they scored the most runs in baseball.
I know.
So I mean, the pitching, yes, absolutely was huge what they got this season, but that offense put up a lot of runs.
I don't know how, but they did.
So at the top, the Dave Roberts talks begin. Oh, first breaking down, like game 4, they're up. Anderson is pitching really well. And it's kind of like that Snell situation in 2020 when he was with Tampa against the Dodgers. And what was that, like game 6?
Yeah.
And he's just dealing. They have to win, right? It's a must win, and he's just shoving. And Cash pulls him, and then, ultimately they go down.
Yeah.
And it felt kind of like that. Like, this guy's dealing. They don't really have an answer for him. And then once they get to a certain spot in the game, he was 86 pitches, I think he came out of the game. And then it was just a bullpen game after that. Why can't these guys there is no tomorrow for the Dodgers. So this is working. I don't understand, the decisions being made to, and it's easy to second guess now that it's over, obviously. Yeah. That's the privilege that we're in, doing the podcast, is that we can bash and criticize all we want after, but in the moment, maybe there is a reasonable explanation for doing what they do. I mean, it's not the first time they've done this. But why can't these guys get pushed further? Why not? When he's pitching well, he's feeling it, obviously. My eyes tell me one thing. So why can't, why? And then you see he's not maybe making all the decisions. Maybe the decisions are coming from upstairs, the analytic department. You've seen that in football recently where, hey, they have an analytic department in a booth saying, hey, the math says do this here. And they do it. How much is that in baseball? It's got to be.
It's got to be a lot. But I think there is the analytic part, but then also, like you said, you have to just go with sometimes your heart and your feel and
what your
baseball
eyes tell
savvy.
you.
I mean, Dave Roberts played this game for a long time, and he won a World Series with the Red Sox, and he's been in these pressure situations, and he understands what it takes to win. Sometimes you just got to be like, dude, that's my best guy on the bump right now, and he's dealing, and he's feeling good, and he's only at 86 pitches. Let's go one more inning. Does he feel good? Looking at his eyes, how confident is he? How, you know what I mean? And I think that needs to be more of a role. That's how it used to be. And I mean, and the game of baseball was really good back then when guys were going to go 9 or going to go 8, going to go 7. So I don't know. I'm with you. I feel like he needs to, I don't know, let your guys play.
What does he want to do? Like, again,
are you going to pull a guy out after 3 strikeouts?
He wants the ball. And after the night before, where you go Gonsolin and he gets, well, not even through an inning,
4 outs.
You know, so you kind of bullpen at that game already. You saw Vesia the night before. You saw him in game 4. And again, that was a very odd. Was it 3-0 in the 7th? They had Almonte. I didn't see them. They made it like 3-2, or it was 3-3. And runners at first and third. Soto was on first. Almonte was on the mound, and Cronenworth was hitting. He goes 1-0, and I believe that's when they stole, right? No, they went Vesia. So after 1-0, they made the
fifth. I was asleep.
That's right, yeah. So 1-0 count. Roberts makes the move to Vesia in the 7th, and he's a lefty. Soto takes second base, and not even an attempt.
Moonwalks into second.
Basically moonwalks into second base. And Cronenworth hits a 1-2 pitch that was honestly not a well-executed pitch into center field to scores 2, and that was it. That was kind of like the dagger. They ended up picking up another run.
Which was
that made it 5-3. 2 strikes, just get the ball and play.
Which was a swing that was a playoff swing. I guess that's what I'll call it. Because in April, he's trying to hit that yard. And if he strikes out, he strikes out.
But I mean, had a strikeout before that with Myers. He comes up, clutch 1-2. Again, not a well-executed pitch. And people are, how much time? Because you only see what the cameras obviously show, right? We don't know how long he was in the bullpen, Vesia was, to get loose. From somebody watching at home, it looked like no time.
Yeah.
Almonte goes 1-0, and you see Vesia in the pin playing, like, going fast, right? Roberts comes out to the mound, makes the move. And a lot of people were, questioning how much time you give him to warm up. He pitched the night before. It was about to pour rain. I'm assuming it was a little chilly. But at the end of the day, he had a 1-2 count and just didn't make a good pitch. Enough of the plate to where Cronenworth can barrel it and drive in 2. And, the other thing that I was thinking, and I don't, is there was 2 righties, I believe, after Cronenworth. And I know with 2 strikes or 2 outs, I'm saying you don't want to load the bases if you don't have to, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, still gives you a force out.
Right. But the go-ahead runner's at third, and it was Kim.
Yeah.
And so let's say, you walk Cronenworth to set up the righty-righty matchup with Myers or I think it was, I forget who was after that. But I'm just saying you could set up a righty-righty for the next 2 hitters and not go to the bullpen yet.
Well, you had Will Myers, Jurickson, and Trent Grisham. So you only had one righty.
You had one. Okay.
Jurickson's a switch hitter, so.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, I get it then. I don't want to question why not just stay with Almonte or walk Cronenworth to get to the next guy for your righty-righty. You're bringing in a lefty basically for one lefty to face potentially 2 more right-handed hitters. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. You were saying just have the righty intentionally walk Cronenworth.
Right. And
face Will Myers and Jurickson if he needs to.
Right.
Or have him face Will Myers and then bring the lefty in for Jurickson.
Switch
and
him around, whatever you feel is a better matchup. So, I don't know. There's 100 ways to go about it.
You brought up a good point, though, just now. Like, I didn't even think about this. Like, and I'm surprised I have never said this really before, is, we were talking about Anderson not going, and they talk about, seeing the lineup 3 times. But what if in a 4-game series, I see that reliever more than 3 times? What's the difference? Yeah. Like you're bringing in a reliever every single game, possibly facing the same hitters. What's the difference of me facing that guy, whether it be once a day or just three times in that one game?
They're not unfamiliar with each other.
No.
This team, Dodgers, Padres.
Exactly. So Anderson's going, like, I'm sorry. I just was like going back to it. You made that point. And I was like, what? All these guys are going like 5 innings and they're bringing the bullpen, but because they don't want to see him 3 times, but technically they've probably seen that reliever more than 3 times throughout the year. So it's just like,
and you kind of know,
and you know what he's thrown you and how he's thrown you and sequences and all that kind of stuff. That's why some of that analytics stuff, it just doesn't make sense to me. But
well, why they live and die by it.
Yeah.
They do. They live and die by it. And that, whatever, that's fine. I was just questioning that, but I mean, everybody's, the night ends and it's Roberts needs to go. And it's like every year or they less than underachieving is an understatement for that team.
But again, it's like, okay. And this is where I'm going to stick up for the Dodgers. You heard it.
I know where you're going.
They won 111 games. Yes, they lost in the NLDS. That doesn't take anything away from how good they had a season, how good of the season they had.
Right.
Because one team wins at the end of the year. One team. That's it. And a lot of the times it's not the best team that played throughout the season. I mean, you can't just be like, oh, off with Robert. Dude, they've been in the they've won the division, 6 straight years? 7? How many times since he's been there?
Plenty.
You know what I mean?
They didn't win it last year.
And I get you want to win a World Series, but division titles mean a lot for Major League Baseball. Winning division title. Just like how many World Series did the Braves win back in the day when they had 15 straight division titles? One. Were they calling for Coxey's head back in the day?
Well, that's where I was thinking, like, they're that team. They're that team of this decade.
And what's wrong with that?
There's nothing wrong with that. I'm still a Braves fan.
And the Braves are still known for being a powerhouse back in the 90s.
Yes.
And they still love Chipper Jones. They still love Fred McGriff. They still love the 3-headed monster and Maddox, Smoltz, and Glavine. You know what I mean? They still talk about them. Do they talk about, oh, man, they only won one World Series, though? That's almost
they did for a while.
I know, but that's almost the last thing that comes up.
Now, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of Hall of Famers from that team.
Exactly. Just like the Dodgers are going to have a lot of Hall of Famers. They're going to have a lot of All-Stars, a lot of this. And I think that's just where the fan base just needs to be like.
They want to win, man. I get it.
Who doesn't want to win?
I mean, it's hard, right? We say it all the time. It's because winning is hard.
Winning is hard. And it's even harder in the playoffs. And I'll say this, in a full 160-game season.
Of course, you can't leave that out. I can't leave it out. Salt in the wound, if you will. But also, listen. You maybe forgot, but you over the weekend talking privately, you also defended them. Roberts.
Oh yeah,
with saying this team, put it on record, is going to win the 2022 World Series.
Yes, and I 100% would want to play for a manager that thought that. 100%. If my manager doesn't think that we're going to win the World Series every year we come into spring training, then he's already thinking negative. For him to say that and for them to go do what they did in a regular season is already unbelievable and win the division by a lot,
right?
Like 20 some games.
Yeah, it was a lot.
And then, you still got to go the playoffs and win a World Series. I get that, but he pretty much still did what he was supposed to. They won the division by 20 games. Did they win the World Series? No. Did they get to this championship series? No. But still, I'm all in on that. I'm all in on Roberts. Yes, I want to go play for this guy. He thinks we're going to win a World Series. I want to play for that guy. I want to play for what coach is like, man, I hope we come in third in the AL East this year.
Want to get
man, I want to go play for that guy. I hope we come in third. No, I want to play for a guy that wants to win a World Series, that wants to believe in his team so much that he's willing to put his own neck out there. Remember, LA is like New York, the media. They'll blow it up. They'll negative, positive, whatever. I have no problem with what he said. I have no problem, and I won't take anything away that they didn't make it to the World Series. It still doesn't take away what they accomplished this year, which I think was tremendous. 111 wins, win the division by 20-some games. It was a great year. The Dodgers fans have nothing to be mad about. Okay. Did they get let down again in the division series against the Dodgers? They played a division rival that's played them almost 20 times this year. They know each other. Anything can happen.
Who just came off a big road series win against a team they weren't supposed to beat.
Yes. And I see nothing wrong. It went 3-1. They didn't get swept. The Dodgers had opportunities.
There's something to say. I mean, we've said all the time, like, look at the Dogs. You go back to 2008 and that the just getting hot at the right time, playing with momentum. It matters.
Yeah. I mean, you said it last episode. You put the Angels in the playoffs. Anything can happen. Just because they had a shitty season, the playoff atmosphere, the adrenaline, all that kind of stuff, it's just different because now you get in the playoffs, 111 means nothing. You up on us by 20-some games in the division means nothing. We're 0-0 right now.
And when you make the series 1-1 and you're going home for the next two, you're playing with momentum.
Yeah. Yeah. But my big thing is, Dodger fans, it's okay, man.
Well, it's the same as the Braves. I look at it the same way. Like, the Padres played better. That bullpen did not give up a run.
No.
The bullpen was lights out. Like, you just tip your cap. You tip your cap to the Phillies. They just flat out whooped the Braves.
Yes.
And the Padres just played better. They pitched better. They got the clutch hit. And the Dodgers left a lot of runs on base, man. They had opportunities. It's not for a lack of opportunities. Because I've seen the argument in the last 2 days of we need to change the format was a week off. The week off's not fair to those teams that won divisions. And I asked last week, like, is that going to be a challenge for these teams coming back having not played for a week? You know, because simulated games aren't games. There's nobody in the crowd. And you can't simulate crowd. I mean, you can. They did in 20.
You can, COVID, but you can't simulate that pressure of actually.
You heard You heard Petco. That place sounded insane. I mean, it was extremely loud.
Yeah,
Philly, like those are atmospheres you can't recreate in a week off.
And then my only argument. We talked about this. I said the wild card is either right after 162, like the 163rd day or whatever.
Make the last day of the season all day game, early games.
Yeah, and then you start the wild card the next day. You don't give a day off. You start it the next day, play 3 straight at whoever's higher seed gets all 3 home games. You play 3 straight and you start the next series right after those 3 days.
Yeah.
Because it makes the wild card mean more because now you got to grind it out more. And then you give an advantage actually to the winners, the division winners that are not in the wild card. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that also helps out. So it would have helped out the Dodgers maybe more because now you're only sitting 3 days. You're sitting after 162.
It's like a little mini all-star break.
You're sitting 3 days where it's not a lot of time off as a hitter. Your pitchers get a little bit more rest. You could come back. You can go to the ballpark, take batting practice. It's almost like the all-star break. It's almost like having a day off.
Is it too much time to come back and?
That's not
coming back and saying, oh yeah, we just had a week off and now we're coming back to play for our season.
Yeah, I don't think that is. I think taking a day off the day after the season, then 3 games, then another day off. Now we play the division series. That's a lot. That's 5 days. That's a lot, depending on weather too. You know what I mean? They could have been more or not. But I think, and if that's not the case, then you just go back to 1 game.
Well, I think, it's worth playing. And so I read an article this morning that came out in the New York Post. And the author was talking about fairness, which, listen, they all had opportunities to win these games.
Yes.
Right? While those other teams are riding a little more momentum, the Dodgers had opportunities to win any of those games. Mm-hmm. And they had lead in game 4.
Every game starts 0-0 first inning.
Same with the Braves. I think with pitching, maybe the time off probably helps a little bit more. I think as a hitter, you probably don't want to take too much time off, especially if you're locked in. You know what I mean? So I get that. But like you said, it's 0-0. They all had opportunities to win. The author basically said, well, why, instead of not knocking so much the 3-game wild card, but the division series being, instead of 5 games, 7 games. Because like NHL, NBA, every series is 7 games.
Yeah.
Which I was like, you know what? Why not?
I would actually agree. I would
Why
like
not?
that better.
Play 4 games. Move best of 4. It's all 7 games. 7 for the DS, 7 for the championship series, and 7 for the World Series.
I see no problem with that.
Now, again, NBA and hockey play 80-something games. Not nearly as much as the baseball players do, but
You're only adding technically 3 more games if it goes to 7.
yes.
I mean,
Well, yeah. 3 if it goes to 7, yeah, you're right. 3 games.
so
I mean, would you give them a little more roster space? Like, they're into wanting to make more money. You add some
or you
playoff
just let your
games.
starters go longer.
You could do that.
Just say in 3 of the 7 games, your starter has to go at least 7.
I mean, as many rules as they want to change, why not?
But I don't see anything wrong with that going 7 games. Now LA at least has a chance to go back to LA. Being the higher seed.
I mean, it is the playoffs, so I get that. I mean, I get you're going to make the wild card a 3 and then that makes why not make it a best of 7?
Yeah.
I was not opposed to that. But I think it was Boone talking about like this is something they're going to have to play with for a couple years and see, because this year it may not play out the same way next year.
Yeah.
Maybe next year the division winners just run through it. It's baseball, man. Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
And we're seeing that. I guess we're seeing that. And I think Boone's right. I think you play it out a couple of years and see, hey, you know what? Maybe we go back to the 1-game wild card. Maybe we make a 7-game division series. Who knows? But I thought it was interesting. I'm sure obviously the Braves, the Mariners or Dodgers would like to have seen another game to be able to play. Especially Seattle getting 1 game at home for the first time and
win.
That's true, man. They had opportunities. That's what I'm saying. They had chances to win.
You're not the higher seed.
The Astros had a week off.
Yeah.
I think the Yankees and the the Guardians have had the most
days off,
but it's odd schedule, and then back to back to back. So,
how about last night? They finished
on
a plane. They got to fly to New York,
and they're playing today. Yeah. We'll see. Do you want to pick an NL team to go roll with? Well, you want to pick one? No? Do you want to?
No, whoever wins is winning the World Series.
Whoever wins the National League. So you're not going to.
I'm not going to pick. I'm not.
That's safe.
I'm not going to pick because
I think
I like both equally. And I'm just going to say whoever wins that is winning the World Series. Even if my Astros are in there.
You got Brogdon, a local product with Phillies. Obviously, we've mentioned Ben Fritz, who's both have been on the podcast in San Diego with the bullpen coach there. So good luck to both of those guys. I'm kind of with you. I want to. I don't care who wins. Like, I'm kind of rooting for the Padres. I'll be honest.
I mean,
but nothing against the Phillies either way. I won't be upset.
Picked the Padres the whole time.
Yes, you did.
So,
not to. Yeah, I wouldn't mind to see either one with. You do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. The colors.
I like Phillies baby blues.
Those are pretty sick.
But I like the Padres. I like these uniforms better than the Navy.
So you picked San Diego, correct? You got Houston, and you got the Yankees possibly still. So you could go 3 for 4 this round. Mm-hmm. Not too shabby.
Aren't you the same?
No, I picked the Dodgers.
Oh, and you picked the Mariners.
And I picked the Braves.
Did you pick the Mariners?
No, I picked the Houston Astros.
You did pick Houston.
So if the Yankees win, I'll go 2 for 4. But needless to say. So you're just going to write out National League winners winning the World Series, period.
Yes.
All right. I'm surprised only because
I know if my Astros
you tend to pull for the Astros.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, nothing against Astros. I really like the Astros, and I would like to see them win a World Series and have them just that whole negative 2017 kind of go out the door.
Dusty Baker.
Oh yeah, Dusty Baker deserves it. But I've been a Bryce Harper fan since the beginning. And for him to leave Nationals and then they win it the next year.
Yeah.
And then to be there almost, I'd really like that opportunity for him. especially what they've been through with the new coach and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it wasn't an easy season to get through.
No. But then the Padres, to go through what they went through, they lost one of their best players, and it almost lit a fire up under their ass. So
Well, and they made those moves at the deadline, and you weren't seeing like, oh, they're not going undefeated the rest of the year. You know what I mean? They're still 20 games back, and so to do what they've done in the postseason, it's pretty cool, man. It kind of shuts some of the naysayers up. Right?
Yeah.
Including myself. I didn't pick them to win. The one thing I want to get into also real quick is you saw a couple excitable moments. Rhys Hoskins, they hasn't been in a playoff game, right? As a Philly.
I'm okay with that one.
People were upset. As a Braves fan, I mean, I was just whatever. Like we've seen stuff like that. So
he did run after though. He go ahead.
He slams his bat in, celebration for hitting a massive 3-run shot.
Massive.
That basically,
said we're here.
Well, it's like we're going to end this today.
Welcome to Philly.
This thing's over, right? Thanks for playing. You know what I mean? We got to play 9, but so here you go.
And you're the dude.
And he'd been struggling.
Was it Strider?
I think it was. He'd been struggling, right? They walked to get to him, and so to make somebody pay, I don't love it just because it's versus the Braves, but
to me, it was relief. Yes, threw the bat down. He didn't he didn't look at the pitcher. He didn't stare the pitcher down. He looked at his dugout, said, "Let's fucking go," and then he ran the bases actually.
Okay,
he even sped around third a little bit.
So
I'm okay with that. He didn't look at the pitcher and yeah, motherfucker, yeah, any of that kind of stuff. I mean, you just walked to get to me too?
Yeah.
I mean.
So I bring that one up to get to Sunday night.
Yeah, get to it.
The Yankees, Guardians, and was it off Garrett Cole?
Yeah, it was.
Josh Naylor hits a home run off Garrett Cole to make it a 2-run game.
Tied it.
Would it tie that up? Okay. And what was he doing? Was he cradling like a baby?
Yeah, like Garrett Cole's I'm his daddy type thing. Yeah.
So your thoughts on that one?
You're an idiot. I already don't like Naylor because he's just very dramatic and over the top with everything. And then
well, I go back to when Loop got pulled in the playoffs with the.
No, he got pulled for Loop.
He got pulled for Loop, right? And and Loop pinch hits for him.
Hit the double.
Yeah, he came through, but he looked pissed when Loop got pinned when he hit for him. Yeah. And so it's just like, well, are you a true team guy? I don't know. I always question that just going back to that, and then to see this, and it's just like, dude, it wasn't for the lead. The game's not over. It's not a walk-off. That guy is really good and probably wins more battles versus you than you win versus him. I mean, I didn't like that one personally.
No.
Because that was to purely show up.
Oh, he did it towards Garrett.
Yeah.
The entire time around. He did it going to first base. He did it between first and second, staring at Garrett, doing the baby thing, around third to the dugout, and then I don't know, did the low thing or whatever, like he's little or something. And then as he's going home down the third baseline, looking at Garrett again, doing the baby thing. I mean, he's getting one up and in today.
You think so?
I hope so.
They don't play that way anymore. Maybe, I don't know. But who was that matchup?
Where's Homie the Clown?
Homie the Clown don't
Homie don't play that.
They'll settle it again. This is Monday, so this will be out, and
they lost, by the way.
That's the thing, right? That's what I meant. Like, you didn't win the game. It wasn't a walk off. You didn't take the lead. Like, I get wanting to get the crowd involved and all that, but there is a bit much in that one. Again, going back to Rhys Hoskins, like, it was nothing directed at the pitcher.
It was 0-0 ball game, right?
I don't think so. I think it was either made.
I think no, because
Harper hit one after that that extended. They made it 6, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess there's differences. I don't know. I again, as being the Braves fan, that's how it pissed me off because it's versus the Braves. But it's like, I get that he'd been struggling. I get that it's been a
Just
decade.
imagine and Hoskins has been there from the beginning, like his entire career, and just imagine probably the boos he's gotten in Philly, and like
he's had his struggles for sure.
He has, and I think it was more of a
yes
when he hit that,
and
then the emotion just came out, and that's why it was not towards the pitcher.
It's like a slam, like finally.
Yes,
yeah,
that's how I took it. Because he didn't look at the pitcher, he didn't look at any of the players going by. Naylor's was strictly look at me. This is on you.
Yeah, showing you up.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's why and you know me, I'm still kind of old school in the aspect of don't show people up and all that. But I think that was just pure relief.
It's funny because I read different takes, right? People but arguing, why Rhys Hoskins wasn't so bad, so show up in your face type of thing versus what I read on Naylor's last night. It was kind of the same take that you have. I mean, people are more against what Naylor did than what Rhys Hoskins did.
Yeah.
Which is, everybody has their right to their own opinion. But it's just funny because, what did the Braves fans do? Because Braves fans were upset about it, right?
Of course.
But what did they do to the Mets when the Mets lost to the Phillies, right? Like, you gave it. You got to be willing to take it.
You have to.
Right? So I that's kind of where I stood on that one. I understand it. But the Naylor one just kind of was a little much for me personally.
I mean, I think that was more disrespectful than the Joey Bats one.
You think so?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean,
he didn't even look. He looked at the ball, stood there, and then threw the bat, and then ran. Naylor was looking at Cole the whole damn time, doing the thing all the way around the net.
First I saw, I was like, oh, is he doing marbles? I thought he was doing marbles, but he wasn't.
The Serrano thing.
So I guess if it's
which
Yankees,
I would have laughed at if he did that.
Since we're recording. Obviously, it's Monday. This game is being played tonight in the Guardians Yankees.
We still have the Yankees.
This will come out Tuesday after we know who wins, or you know who wins. If it's the Astros Guardians,
Astros.
If it's the Yankees Astros. Okay. Regardless, it's National League for you. I'm just confirming for the fifth time. You don't have to put your head down.
I'm trying to think now if the Astros are in it.
We can come back to it. We'll come back to it.
Let's say I want Astros, and I don't care who the National League is, and then we'll go from. Let me retract my National League is winning the whole thing, because I don't know how I'm going to feel once I know the Astros are in with whoever.
We'll come back.
But I will say this: I want the Astros against. I don't care National League.
When the ALCS and NLCS are complete, I'll ask it again. Fair?
Yeah, I just want to be able to make a pick without people being, oh, you said the National League is going to win it all.
Say it anyway.
I know, but that's why I'm retracting it.
Okay.
Because I want to be able to make a pick during the World Series.
Got you. And you're also don't need to fire Rodgers. Although.
Who?
Roberts, sorry.
No. Give him a pay raise. Dude, name another manager for the LA Dodgers that has done what he's done. Not even Tommy Lasorda has done what he's done.
But as the argument that they've got a lot of talent.
So they didn't have a lot of talent back in the day?
They did. I'm just being devil's advocate here.
Okay, so the Yankees didn't have a lot of talent when they were going through their dynasty?
They've had a lot of talent for 20 years.
They've had a lot of talent for 50 years.
I'm just saying they haven't won since 2009, and before that it was 2001, 2000.
They won 3 in a row, right?
Yeah.
98, 99,
2000, right. So, 1 in 22 years.
Or they win 3 in 4 years, didn't they? Not
they
2000
won in 90,
and 1 in 01?
No, they won 3 straight, and they lost
in '01.
I believe so. That was the one to the Diamondbacks. I don't remember. They also lost to the Marlins too.
Yeah, but they were there like 5 straight years.
So, and they won one like 96, was it? 96 they won. So they've done a lot of winning. I'm just saying in 20 years they've won once.
And I'm just trying to say I can't believe I'm doing
because I know a lot of fans are they're just saying it's stupid, idiot moves.
Who are you going to go get to do what they've done?
It's a good question. Bruce Bochy?
That big ass head motherfucker, he ain't coming back out.
I heard somebody bring up his name for the Chicago White Sox.
Oh God, please no.
I'm just saying.
Let's keep all the retired guys out.
I saw something speculating.
I mean, nothing against Bochy, great manager, but towards the end of his career with the Giants, it was just kind of like, I'm ready.
Time to go.
Yeah.
I don't know. Joe Girardi?
He just got fired from the Phillies.
Well, so did what's his face? Kapler.
Let's see how Mark DeRosa does with the USA team. Bring him. I don't know.
That's a good point.
I mean, he's done.
Who are you going to get? Who are you going to go get?
He's won 6 straight division titles. Yes, I know it's about World Series, but
I mean, listen, it's going down in the books whether people like it and don't like it. In 2020, they won a World Series. They played what they were allowed to play for.
Yeah.
And they got it. They won. Everybody had the same schedule. Everybody had the same amount of games to play. Had to go through the same system, the same playoffs. Are we Dodger fans now?
No, hell no.
What are we doing? I'm just saying, like, they also won a World Series.
Technically, yes.
Right. So I guess it's you're upset you lost. You lost to the Padres on top of it. Every year, everybody wants to win. It's part of being a fan.
That's the funny thing. I bet if they lost to like the Braves, right, in the DS, right? Oh man, it was the Braves, the defending champions. They're really good. Blah blah blah. But since it's the Padres or the Giants or those kind of teams, you can't lose to your division. You win the division by 20 games, you shouldn't lose your division.
And I don't think I don't think they would take the week off they won't make that as an excuse.
I hope not. They shouldn't make an excuse out of anything.
I haven't heard anything other than it. They just got beat.
Well, I mean, you had that one fan that was like, "It's over" after game 1 or whatever. So.
They'll choke.
Yeah, they'll choke.
Which kind of what happened.
But I also knew this was going to happen.
Well, and that's the thing. I go like the pitching changed to Vesia in the 7th, and I'm like, well, okay, it is. It was random. It was odd with the 1-0 count, but also the count got to 1-2, and he didn't make a good pitch.
Yeah.
And Cronenworth did what he's supposed to do. So you just saw some good baseball, I guess. I don't know. Make a better pitch. If he strikes him out, I think he struck out the next guy in Myers.
Yeah.
Inning over. And you're still tied.
Look, these guys are changing their swings. They're playing baseball the way it should be played, and you're seeing good baseball. You can't knock it. It is what it is. There's one team that wins the last game.
Yeah.
Period.
Now, what's worse? Is it Roberts saying, did we say this? Roberts saying they're going to win it, or the Mets actually practicing it?
No, I didn't even know that.
In the spring training.
I think actually practicing a dog pile is probably worse than saying it.
Or celebrating the last out of the season.
Because that's kind of getting cocky to the point where your whole team's kind of saying, we're going to dog pile.
But what's the difference between saying, I want to play for a manager that believes that we're going to win the World Series versus the team believing that same thing? Shouldn't the team believe that as well?
Yeah, but to actually like
practice doing that?
Yes, is kind of like.
So now had Roberts said that, and the Dodgers in spring training practiced celebrating the last out to win the World Series in spring training, like
that's not necessary.
So you think the Mets is worse than Roberts saying?
Yes.
I agree with
now,
that.
If Buck came out and said, yeah, we're going to win a World Series, I believe in this team, I'd love that. And I think he's a good manager.
He is. No, he is a good manager.
So.
Hey, you saw something interesting.
I did?
Yeah. About we were talking, I don't know what we brought the conversation on, but it had to do with Cal Ripken Jr.
Oh.
And I saw the version of this on TikTok, and I never really dove into the research on it. But it was something to do with the record, the streak. Oh, yeah. Right. So if you want to give this short version of.
So back in August of, was it 97? I don't know. It might have been 97, but Cal Ripken met Kevin Costner on the shooting of a movie. I forget what movie it was. I wish you told me we were going to talk about this. I would have had it up on my my thing. And they became really good friends. So Kevin Costner was doing a movie, I guess, in Baltimore, and he was staying with Ripken at his house. So Ripken went to go to the game, forgot something at home, came back home, saw Costner with his wife in bed. The story says he beat the shit out of Kevin Costner. I know Cal Ripken's a big dude, but I really like Kevin Costner as an actor. So
as the story goes,
is Cal Ripken beat the shit out of him, called the front office and said, "This is what happened. I'm not going to make it tonight." And he's like at the end of the streak, like it's getting close to the streak. And that day for that game, there was a power outage in Baltimore, and they canceled the game.
Power outage?
Yes. So
with quotes, air quotes,
because the front office said you need to come. You're going for the streak. Blah blah blah. Plus, they're selling tickets, and it's a big promotion thing for the team. With Ripken trying to get the record, and he's like, "No, I can't make it. I'm out of it." Like,
right? He wasn't mentally there.
I wasn't there, and they said, which I read in the thing was, "Don't worry, we'll take care of it."
And that was it.
And then there was a power outage. The game was canceled. They played the next day. Ripken played the game, continued the streak.
Asterisk next to the record, or
hey, no, man, you got to do what you got to do. I mean, he was technically going to get
no. Good on Baltimore.
Good on Baltimore.
Good on. I just love what they're
doing.
Yeah, just love what they're doing over there.
You are all in.
He does eventually get the record.
We don't know the story if it's true or.
Sure. Yeah.
Not with the Kevin Costner.
If it's situation. Dramatized a little bit. It is a very interesting story, true.
I have heard that story. I forgot about it. I've heard about it before. And the story seems the same every time I've heard it.
Yeah, well, I don't know if that story will ever come out of the
We're thinking of calling up Hookie, and because Kevin Costner is a big supporter of Cal State Fullerton baseball and trying to get him on the podcast. And
yeah, I do. I thought it was a super interesting story. But speaking of records, is kind of where I wanted to finish. Records that will never be broken.
Pete Rose's hits.
Pete Rose's hits. Nobody's ever going to reach 4,200 something hits. No. What about Cy Young? Nobody's going to.
I don't even think the hit record in the National League consecutive games will be broken. I think it's like 40 something.
Cy Young's 500.
Joe DiMaggio's
511 wins.
No.
Yeah, that's a no way.
Nolan Ryan's no hitters. No.
Joe DiMaggio's 56.
Nope.
You're saying no. Nolan Ryan's K record 5,700. Nope. Not happening. What about Ricky Henderson's stolen base record? One that we could argue. And listen, there's a bunch. I'm just cherry picking a few. Barry Bonds' 73 mark. You don't think anybody will ever hit 73 plus home runs?
Nope.
Never.
Nope.
Never going to get hit. What about 762?
No. Judge is too old.
Okay.
Trout hasn't stayed healthy enough. Suarez is too old.
NFL records.
Harper's been injured.
Yes. And I think that's where Cal Ripken's is impressive. Nobody's touching that, 2362. NFL maybe. I'll throw the random NFL ones at you. Consecutive games played. Brett Favre, 297 games played.
No.
I think they said Eli Manning was the only one.
He was at like 160.
He was at 217, something like that, 219.
Was that before Daniel Jones took a...
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Yeah, that sucks.
So
the record
297 is not going to get touched. The other one is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers losing streak. 26 games in a row.
No.
In the NFL. Don't think so? No. Going on, this another random.
That was back when it was 9 white guys on defense, 9 white guys on offense.
In NHL,
sucked.
another eye-popping stat that will never be broke in NHL. Montreal Canadiens won 5 straight Stanley Cups.
No.
In the 1950s, I think it's 56 to 50 or something like. But yeah, 5 straight is Stanley Cups is impressive. Speaking of winning championships, Boston Celtics obviously 8 championships, 8 straight championships, not going to be broke. So I got a couple questions for you. I don't know if you want to play a little trivia.
Do I have a choice?
I mean, we could wait, do it another time. Maybe the audience wants to play. Who had the most home runs per at bat? So for every 10.61 at bats was a home run. Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, or Aaron Judge?
In this career?
Yes, his career. These are career numbers. Babe Ruth, Barry Bonds, Mark McGwire, Aaron Judge. 10.61 at bats.
Every 10.61 at bats, you hit a home run.
Yeah. Average career.
Bonds.
It was Mark McGwire.
Really?
Yeah.
I was just trying to go off total at bats.
These are challenging, bud. Most career strikeouts with 2,597. Reggie Jackson.
Yes.
Jim Thome.
Reggie Jackson.
Adam Dunn.
Reggie Jackson.
Sammy Sosa.
Reggie Jackson.
Reggie Jackson is correct. What player has the record for career total bases with 6,856? Willie Mays, Hank Aaron, Barry Bonds, Albert Pujols.
Pujols.
He was second.
To Hank?
Hank Aaron.
Damn it. I was going with Hank first, and then
Yeah. Or second or third. He's right there.
Yeah.
Pujols is. 6,850. Most games played in a career. 3,562. Hank Aaron, Ricky Henderson, Pete Rose, Carl Yastrzemski. Most games played in a career.
Pete Rose.
Pete Rose is correct. Which pitcher's given up the most home runs?
Nolan Ryan.
522.
No.
Bartolo Colon, Jamie Moyer, Tim Wakefield, Phil Niekro.
Jamie Moyer.
Correct. It's a good guess.
No, I think I've heard that before. Soft throwing.
Here we go. Here's a good career record. What manager has the most career challenges with 347? Don Mattingly, Joe Madden, Kevin Cash, Terry Francona.
I got Joe Madden or Cash right now. That's my top 2. And I think I'm going to go with Cash.
3 for 5, make it 4 for 5. Kevin Cash.
It seems like that type. Francona seemed pissed the other day.
Yeah.
When he had to challenge that out call at first base. He looked back when they didn't, and that was his second one in 3 innings. And I was like, yeah, you got to have a better guy on the phone seeing that he's not on the bag.
You would think.
You would think, right?
As much as they pay attention to everything. Last one, just for fun. What manager has the most career ejections?
Robbie Cox.
Do you know how many?
No, but I just know it's him. I'm going to say.
It's Bobby Cox.
And then.
He's got the most for a season as well.
I think the next guy was it Sparky Anderson?
No, I believe it was. No, I don't remember. It could have been. I mixed them up. Earl Weaver.
Earl Weaver from the Orioles.
Yeah.
That's
Ron Gardenhire was in the top 10. Tony La Russa was in the top 5, I think.
I'm gonna say,
but it was Bobby Cox.
I'm gonna say 320.
No, that's way too many.
Okay, 160.
Close. Very close. A full season.
162.
Career. 162.
Dang.
Full season of ejections in his career. He missed a whole season of baseball games. I think the season record was 11.
Oh, that's it?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be
like 20
yeah,
something.
no, I thought it would have been higher also. Yeah, a little fun there for your Tuesday. Chad?
Trivia Tuesday.
The ALCS, NLCS are about to pop off. The NL, we know we got the Padres, Phillies. we'll be, again, following it up as the games are being played, maybe again this week. And obviously when the series ends and we've got a World Series matchup. And then it's Monday, so we don't know who the AL is quite yet. This is going to be out, again, Tuesday today.
But whoever you think it is or whoever it is, you will be right. This podcast will be out.
It's true. But the Astros are for sure moving on, so we'll keep an eye on both of those. Again, send us messages, anything you want us to talk about, get into. Also, thank you for your support. Keep downloading the podcast. Go follow on Twitter at HIT.OR.DIE Podcast, on Instagram at HIT.OR.DIE. Subscribe here on YouTube, and if you're listening, head over to YouTube and subscribe. That is another episode of the HIT.OR.DIE Podcast.
HIT or die.